Governor Cuomo teamed up this week with Eric Adams, who's likely to be the next mayor of New York City after winning the Democratic primary this month. And while the event was about crime, Adams also took a beat to push back on critics who say he's not a progressive.
Police reform, ending stop and frisk, testifying in federal court to do so, equality in our classrooms. All of these issues that we look at, we've allowed the term being progressive to be hijacked by those who do not have a track record of putting in place real progressive changes. And I am not going to surrender my progressive credentials.
But the question is, will this alliance between Cuomo and Adams last? And how will all of this be impacted by the multiple investigations into Governor Cuomo, which we have an update on, by the way. Let's discuss with Kate Lisa from Johnson Newspapers and Ryan Tarnelli from the New York Law Journal. Thank you both for being here. Ryan, I want to go to you first. Cuomo and Eric Adams seem to be forming a partnership, unlike the one that he doesn't have with current New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio. What stood out to you at this event?
Well, I think this was, this event, it was a big platform. Mr. Adams, he's coming off of this win. He's going to be the Democratic nominee. This was really them kind of trying to narrow their message on this high-profile topic. It did seem that Governor Cuomo was trying to bolster his public image with the rising star of Mr. Adams. So I think that was definitely at play. Cuomo trying to shore up his political support as he enters, as he continues through this really turbulent process in his tenure as governor. Yeah.
And I think it's going to be effective, to be honest with you, because we saw him stand with Eric Adams, and then about an hour later, we saw him stand with a bunch of lawmakers, including Diana Richardson, Assemblywoman, and Senator Zellner Myrie. And we saw Assembly Richardson be asked by a reporter, how can you stand with the governor after you called on him to resign a few months ago? She called that inappropriate. How did you take that?
Well, I think certainly it was an appropriate question. When politicians take public stances and then appear to go in conflict with their public stances, reporters' job is to question them on that. But to the larger point is really this is a tactic that the governor's team is supposedly going forward with, which is to bolster support, appearing with lawmakers who have previously called for his resignation, Senate Majority Leader Drew Stewart-Cousins, for example. So this is it seems to be a tactic of bolstering support, showing one of the main criticisms against the governor's administration is that he's lost the confidence of being able to work government, basically, and to be able to run government. So appearing with leaders from his own party seems to go against that argument, and I think that's what they're aiming towards. Also to the point about Eric Adams and whatnot, I often get asked, why is this relationship so important? Why do we care about this?
Right.
And that is because the relationship between the New York City mayor and the governor impacts New Yorkers on every single level, certainly during normal times, but even more so with the pandemic and when things close and when they don't close. So it really impacts New Yorkers, and the decisions that these two men make together will impact things. So that's why we focus on this relationship so much.
Exactly. And I'm really interested to see how that impacts what down the line happens with the governor in terms of the AG's report. The AG is investigating sexual harassment against the governor right now. The Assembly has its own impeachment probe. So there's just a lot of moving parts here. And we found out this week that the governor is going to be questioned this weekend on his role in that sexual harassment probe. In other words, he's going to be asked about the facts that these various women have alleged against him. Kate, what are we expecting out of this? Do we know, I guess, what we're going to get out of this?
No, I guess we don't. That's kind of been the thing here, is that for months we've been waiting to see all these different investigations that have been coming forward at all different levels of government against the governor. There's been no timeline because, investigators are very tight-lipped about what the investigation entails and how long it will take. So some reports have said that maybe this indicates that the AG is getting close to the end of her investigation, but who's to say? I mean, I don't know if she will put things that she's investigating about the governor together, but I think actually going back to the that's why the question was so important to the assembly member yesterday, because yes, the press conferences were about gun violence and the ongoing issue there, which is so important, but all of these things are important to New Yorkers, and that's why open press conferences are important, so that, and that was the second of the day. So, which was rare. We haven't gotten that kind of chance for press to be able to ask the governor questions in person once, in a day, let alone twice. So,
And in Albany for the past 6 months.
yeah, at least, right?
Yeah.
So, so I think it wasn't an inappropriate question, but especially, I think that was a chance for even a lawmaker to be able to say, we need to stand together right now and talk about this important topic, and we need to see what the investigation, how it unfolds, and obviously the job is being done, and we'll see what happens this weekend.
Exactly. Ryan, go ahead.
And I think, too, it should be noted that the expectations for the AG's report are very high. This is an investigation where accusers, their attorneys, critics of Cuomo have said, we believe in the process and we believe in the backgrounds of these two outside attorneys who are doing the investigation. So this is really the investigation that a lot of people are putting a lot of effort into, as opposed to the impeachment investigation from the Senate.
Exactly. And I'm really interested to see what happens with the AG's report if it's released before the impeachment investigation report, and whether that drives the Assembly to act quicker than they are currently, assuming the AG's report comes out first. But we do have to leave it there. Ryan Taranelli from the New York Law Journal, Kate Lisa from Johnson Newspapers. Thank you both so much.
Thanks for
Thank
having me.
you.